countdown go half throttle, and then everybody start launching out full. Everybody ready?
You got it?
3,
we
2,
all rolling together?
Pretty much. Yeah, he's going to say
1
3,
second
2, 1,
intervals.
go to half
Yeah,
throttle.
yeah.
We'll all start moving, and then I'll go full, and L39 full, and red full. You know?
Gotcha.
All ready?
All right.
3, 2, 1, go.
Now I'm going full. Oh my goodness.
Oh, come down, the safety man's here.
I'm at half throttle. Okay. And then now turn in a little tighter than you normally would, because that drone does not want to be too far out.
No, he's way below you. That's James on the gripper.
Somebody just shot past me.
All right, I'm trying to line up, form up on the MiG.
Okay, I see
MiG's
him.
out front.
Mig's got to slow down.
Tell us when you're turning, MiG.
Yep, I got
I'm
him.
in the turn.
Oh, you're way out there, though.
Turn here.
They've all made their turn. You're kind of inside a little bit. MiG's below you, right below
Nothing
you.
sounds better than this. Everybody turning right.
I got him.
Don't look at anyone else's aircraft. Don't admire the MiG.
Yeah.
I'll do anything you want me to. Because are you coordinated with this?
Oh, Dave.
I'll do anything.
Yeah, that's how we'll bind them up.
I know Wade is the guy that did it.
Sorry, just
But
cupped
like
over the
Wade
top of it.
had me hold it like this right here and throw it and then put the throttle on.
Oh!
But we had a thing launch. So it was right here. You launch and then you put the throttle after it took. I don't know, do we still have it?
They're way on the east end of the field now, making another turn.
Fly.
Yeah,
It takes like 10 seconds. You don't have to worry about who's being thrown.
Oh, yeah.
He's there.
He's coming down the
Tell
road.
him, watch that turn. Just run out over those trees again. Drone coming down to change batteries.
All right. Whoa.
Whoa! Nice one, James.
Good, but they're coming up behind you.
Okay. Hey, tighten the MiG up there. You're going over those trees.
Jason's right above you.
All right, I think I'm going to drop gear and come in.
They're all moving right.
We got the wind the way we want it right now. So I'm gonna take a landing.
They're all bunched up right there.
Yeah, I see him.
I'm in front of you on the touch and go.
All right.
Low pass.
Dave is behind
I took the grass. I'm down.
I'm doing a gear pass.
you. James is on the ground.
MiG's out for landing.
I just went down early.
He's landing. The MiG, is the
Where'd
MiG
you go?
landing next?
I'm off the runway.
Okay,
I'm on the grass by the taxiway.
Gear pass. Who else is coming in?
I am.
I'll be right behind you.
Let's find my flaps.
Okay, watch it.
Jason's above you.
Coming in.
Landing right, left.
He's just
Head back towards the runway. There you go, Alex.
Pete's trying
That
to
was an
land.
Avanti. Wait, hang right there. We got L39 and T33 coming that way, Alex. In 3, 2, 1. There they go. They're coming in. Woo!
Is everybody down?
Jason's on the ground. No,
Just the red Avanti's up with you.
Dave's hasn't landed yet.
Dave's is on final there. Is it
Dave is coming in.
Dave's on final.
And there he is. Boom!
Down.
And the T33 and the
me, huh?
drone. Just you, my man.
Should I say hi, Patrick?
All right, Patrick's landing.
Coming back. No, I'm gonna do a low pass. I got energy, buddy.
Oh, he's going.
Down the field, saying hello to everybody. Good. In the trees. Woohoo!
Oh my God.
It looks crazy, right? Line of sight.
Welcome
welcome to Motion RC's Friday show. This is episode number 37. It's great to see you guys here. You might notice a different face. My name is Andrew. You probably talked to me, probably seen you on the chats and such, filling in for James. Of course, we have Alpha along with us here today. Want to say hi, Alpha? All right.
Hi, Alpha.
And then we also have a guest today, like we do almost every week. We got BaySim80. You might have seen him on Hobby Squawk. His name is Monty Baysinger, and he's going to be helping us discuss the trucks, construction equipment, and that whole new side of things we're going to be getting into soon. So you want to say hi, Monty?
Hello, everyone. Nice to be here with you today.
Awesome. All right, guys.
Hey, Monty.
So let's go down the topics today. We're going to be looking at the Bancroft line of boats. They finally made port last week. We got some into the hands of Alex, and James, and they're going to be reviewing those. I think they got 7 different ones. So guys, please let us know which ones do you guys want to see first? Which ones are you interested in? We got a little bit of everything. We got some scale, we got some sail, and we got some speed too. So we'll be getting into that here in just a second. Customer community, guys, you guys are doing awesome with those MiG-29 flights. Still really enjoying seeing how happy you guys are with those maiden flights. Always a nerve-wracking experience, especially with the biggest offering we've made so far. So we'll delve into that a little bit. Then we'll be talking with Monty, our special guest. We got some really neat stuff to show you from Hobby Squawk. Again, he's posted lots of stuff. We've already got threads on construction equipment, on the 18-wheeler segment, as well as the boats. There's some good threads already in there, so please check those out. The other topic we're going to talk about today, I think is very important, being behind the scenes in customer service, pre-flight checklists. We've got to be doing those more often. It'll make us all better pilots. It'll allow us to have less bad experiences. So I'm really looking forward to talking about that subject. And then we got some more MiG-29 CAD footage from Alpha, from his Twitch. He's been doing that, really showing us the insides of these jets, which I think is really awesome to see the structure, to see what goes into these just foam models, because they're much more complicated than that. So I'm looking forward to getting into all those topics. And of course, at the end, we'll have the Q&A. Guys, throw up those questions on the side. We'll try to answer as many of them as we can. So why don't we move right into that first topic, the Bancroft boat. All right, I think we got some footage we're going to be showing here. And guys, bear with me. It's my first time doing the hosting here, giving James a little bit of a break. All right, so we got
you're doing really great, Andrew. You're doing
the boxes
really great.
Right
Let me
there.
jump
Look
here,
at
guys.
that.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about Bancroft, as Andrew said. So we've got, for those of you who missed it, what is Bancroft? Bancroft is Motion RC's exclusive brand of maritime categories. As Andrew rightly put it, we're bringing in speed, we're bringing in scale, we're bringing in sail. So people are already talking about the jet boat. I think we're going to make a note that that'll likely be the one that we're going to want to do first, Alex, to show people just sort of how fun we can have with these boats. But we've got sailboats in 2 different class sizes, sort of my style. Nice little relaxing day on the water. The speedboats are a very wide range, from smaller swordfish style aircraft to larger jet boats. And then, of course, as everyone knows us, we're big scale nuts here at Motion RC. So we've got models like the Yamato, the Missouri, the Bismarck, the PT-596, the Fletcher Destroyer, and a entire host of additional boats coming down the line that you see on the website. So as Andrew mentioned, a lot of these are shipping already. We've been having a lot of fun with them so far. And please let us know at Hobby Squawk. Let us know what you think about these things. People are typically opening them up, throwing them right into the water and going off. We've already seen some great videos, for example, from Steve, from RC Jet Dude, operating his Fletcher. But let us know what you guys think, what you'd like to see from us more in the future. And I can tell you right now, in China, we are making more and more and more of these as quickly as we can to meet what apparently is a huge demand, which is always nice to see that people love these as much as we do. RTR means that a lot of these products are ready to run. You're able to really lift them out of the box, do some minor sub-assembly and some fitting, and you're binding the included radio and receiver, and you're cruising. So we've had requests for kits. We're asking anyone who has any feedback on different formats you'd like to see. Please, again, let us know in Hobby Squawk. We are always listening. We're always listening. Andrew, you're a pretty big boat guy, aren't you?
I got into fast electric boats about 3 years ago, but as a kid, I did some scale stuff, built a Lindbergh 72nd scale Fletcher, because in my family heritage, last name being O'Bannon, one of the most famous Fletcher class destroyers was the USS O'Bannon, named after Presley O'Bannon, who was responsible for writing the hymn for the Marine Corps. So kind of an interesting little piece of history there. I've always had a little bit of attachment to that Fletcher. Super cool looking destroyer. But yeah, the fast boats, I got a couple of them here behind me. Even got a little submersible sub here behind me. That's a Dumas Akula. They're kind of it's buoyant, so I don't have flood chambers. More simple. You stop moving, it floats to the top. But yeah, boats are, it's just something for me that's different than flying. Sometimes I got to switch gears, not get burn out on flying, and for me, that's what the boating has done. And yeah, you can see right there, there's my little submarine, and you'll notice there's some little donuts floating there behind it. We were trying to FPV the sub, and the biggest challenge with that is FPV signal 5.8 gigahertz does not penetrate water. The second the receiver goes under, you won't see anything. I will say this test failed. It still didn't work very well, but getting the sub out like this in open water and putzing around with it, it's just so cool, guys. And again, it's just something different to do. I like switching gears in RC, so the submarine was totally something cool to do. And there it is.
Is that in your pool, Andrew?
Yeah, that is in the pool. Yeah, got a pool here
neat.
in Lake Elsinore. I got that lake. I can walk to it in about 10 seconds. I got a perfect boating facility here. It's more fun in the pool.
Yeah.
I like being in the water with it, holding the remote. Don't get your remote wet, of course, but just a ton of fun with something different, totally different than anything I've done. And those are
there are
tough
some
to build.
comments people are asking in chat if that specific model is FPV. Is that what I'm seeing there on the top of the sail?
Yeah, we tried
set up in there.
Yeah, it didn't wind up working. Like I said, it's really complicated to get a signal underwater. There's my Aeromarine Titan 29. This is like the switchblade of my boats right now. I love taking it out in all types of chop like that. You can see all the air it's getting. It spends half its time out of the water running in these kind of conditions, but it's so much fun. There's the bow view. I'm only doing about 35 miles an hour here. Here might be touching 40, and man, it's just an adrenaline rush. If the prop leaves the water and you re-enter on the gas, it'll flip it right on its lid so fast. And that's another important part of this game, is the recovery part. How are you going to get your boat when you wreck it? There's my little self-riding. That's a Oxy-D Marine Mini Dominator self-riding. It's 17 inches long, but I've had almost as much fun as that boat as I've had with any of them. It's just so fun to drive at speed. And if you flip it, all you have to do is wait a quick second, stab the throttle, and it takes off. You'll never have to fish for that boat.
Yeah, the Bancroft jet boat that we brought in is self-riding, and I know exactly what you mean. It's nice if you hit a ripple at the wrong angle and you flip on over, you wait a couple seconds and you're right as rain.
Hit the throttle,
to go swimming for it.
Yeah. Exactly. That one's fun. It'll torpedo itself underwater. I'll just wait a few seconds. It pops back up, and you keep on trucking. So that's a good all-weather boat. So yeah, that's the boating segment there. So let's move on to the customer community. Let's see what you guys have been doing with those MiG 29s, I think is what we got coming up next. Again, seen lots of good, no? Well, staying with the boats. All right, we're going to stay with the boats.
Well, before we jump in, let's, we looked at, I believe Steve, RC Jet Dude, which needs to change his name to RC Sub Dude, posted pictures on Hobby Squawk of his Fletcher. So speaking of big, those of you who have a MiG 29, we see the Fletcher size relative to it. And he's got pictures and even a video that we're going to show you all a clip of. The Fletcher, to me, is one of the best models in the lineup. It's that nice size where it it's just under. You can still put it sideways into a car. It's about 1,400 millimeters long. So any longer, and we are bringing larger vessels in, such as the 150th Missouri and the Titanic and whatnot, and those are beautiful, but they're so long, you need to go lengthwise into a vehicle. Fletcher is still easy to transport, but large and in charge, and has a great presence. So yeah, there he is on a nearby lake. I think boats, as we all know, you sort of need water for them. And so we're going to have some exciting footage from our customer family, seeing where everyone's operating these. I mean, Andrew, you're out there in Lake Elsinore in California. Steve's all the way on the East Coast. I know James has some ponds that we've reconned for where we're going to be shooting. We've seen Mary Boozer. We've seen the Boozers do some sailing footage in a retention pond near their area. So it's always fun to see where we're able to find a place to put our boats. But
that's the great part with some of these boats is you don't need a lot of room for some of these boats. You don't need a giant pond like that for the smaller ones. So
yeah, exactly. It's got some get up and go too, I noticed on that Fletcher. And speaking of
almost unscale like top speed, which is not bad.
Yeah, you want a rooster tail at the back end of your your Fletcher.
You got to get away from the sub.
Exactly. In fact, I think there's a sub somewhere in that footage. But
the Fletcher.
Yeah, and speaking of scale, I suppose, or if you want something a little slower and a little more transportable, we also brought in the Bancroft LCM-3 landing craft. So for those not familiar, this vessel took part in many landings throughout World War II. Most notably, probably, is the invasion of Normandy. And the exciting thing about this one here is that this is 1/16 scale. Also posted by one of our friends at Hobby Squawk. So what I love about it is CM Aero was able to sort of incorporate. He's got a 1/16 scale truck in there, but the 1/16 scale Sherman from Henlong and Tamiya, both of which we have on the website, they fit perfectly into this lander, and you can sail up to the beachhead, drop the front gate, and your tank rolls off onto the beach, hopefully not onto a mine, and you pull the gate back up and back out and sail away. So it's one of those sort of perpetual fun type elements where we're now able to merge a surface vehicle with a maritime vessel and sort of slowly begin to put them together and get towards my Nimitz aircraft carrier that with a launch deck. That's what I want to get to one of these days.
Look at that landing craft. So much.
And the next up, I believe we've got. Yeah, it's amazing that he hasn't done anything yet. If I know CM Aero, I know he's probably going to do some customization, but this is how it comes out of the box, which I think looks great. And then you bring on those overlapping layers of detail, maybe some shading, some weathering, that sort of stuff. We also notice he's got an FPV camera on his truck, so I'm assuming he's gonna FPV the rest of the landing craft as well. Just adds to the fun. And you're right, John. One day you are going to get a tank someday, my friend. I'm sure you will. Although Mordhorse, I'm not sure if we could do a 1/16 scale Bismarck. I would love to. I would love to have a 50-foot boat.
I've seen a guy make one that he can sit in, and he put it on a little boat trailer. It's about 15 feet long. It's out there, guys. If you look. It had a jet ski motor to power it. Yeah.
So it's basically a kayak, like
It is. Yep.
A 20-foot kayak. Now, that's impressive.
It looked exactly like a Missouri, or he'd take off the superstructure, get down in his seat, and then put it on top of him.
Well, coming next to Motion RC, everyone. Yeah. Let us know if you want it.
You've seen it in real life. It's been done in RC. You just got to look for it. That is super cool. Great. What do we have here next?
So let's take a look at John Killian also sent us some neat photos. And guys, if you want to be featured on the show, just always remember, just post the pictures on Hobby Squawk. We're always looking there. John Killian sent us this great photo of sort of a free wing free-for-all. He's got He has the free wing 70 millimeter ME262, our 90 millimeter F15 and F16 and F4 and F4 and F4. So love seeing that. I can already tell he's done some additional detailing so to what the aircraft arrive, how they arrive out of the box. A few different special liveries on that F4. So the fun part of this hobby, guys, whether it is a boat or a vehicle of any sort or an aircraft, we love seeing what you guys are then doing to these. We're modelers, not just flyers and drivers. So love that set. Love that. Oh gosh, that looks good.
Fine looking gag. I really like the ME262 little engine covers. I like those little details, subtle details. And that's just beautiful.
Yeah.
F4 Phantom. Can't go wrong with that model. The way it flies, the customization, Cali graphics, it's well supported. Choose your flavor.
Right. Speaking of which, speaking of customizations, Guillermo Petrus, I believe his name is pronounced, send us an FPV video. We did our own FPV video with Major Patrick Crosdale last week. People seem to really like it. This is one of those things where with an X-Wave, with a simple X-Wave FPV setup we have on the website or other setups of your choice, people are really beginning to put these into aircraft. So what he did, not only did he do this really striking Breitling livery on his Freewing 80 millimeter L39, but he also went an additional step further to install an FPV setup. I was very impressed. In fact, check this out. He put a camera into the head. That looks painful, but he put a camera in the head of that pilot up front, and then he situated, as we see, his video feed transmitter into the rear instrument panel, to the rear HUD of that second pilot. So really exciting stuff. I can't wait to see his video, which we've yet to see. But again, guys, the sky is not the limit. We can go higher with this type of stuff. In fact, now that I look, it looks like he has something up on the vertical stab as well. I didn't notice that. Yeah, I think that's an Insta360. So I'm hoping he's double checks his CG.
I've ridden from this view in a T-33. There's a couple members of my field that are way into the DJI T-33 formation flying, and it is an absolute hoot. You turn your head, you can look through your corners. It absolutely puts you right in the pilot's seat. And I like this view the best without the canopy, no distortion whatsoever. It feels so realistic. It's a ton of fun. If you haven't tried it, do it. It's cool. Different ball of wax of flying remote control planes.
Yeah. Yeah, these repaints, guys, are looking better and better. I know people are getting Bancroft airbrushes, or they have airbrushes of their own already, and really just pouring into customization and personalization. I mean, this Breitling looks stunning. We all know about our good friend Callie at Cali Graphics. And in fact, shout out to our other friend, CRX Man Pat, who's preparing a decal set that he's talking about in Hobby Squawk for ordnance for the MiG-29. And speaking of ordnance, we have this F-18. This was posted by Jim Jets, and he sort of went, oh gosh, he went full turkey on this one. He has AIM 120s. Well, can't exactly call it scale, but it looks neat. His AIM 120s, AIM 9s. He's got 2 gas bags on the center pylons, and he's got he has a lot of ordnance on this thing. But we love it, guys. We love what you're doing and all this sort of stuff. And I'm noticing in chat, guys, we have people from France and people from the States, people from Asia, and one of our good friends, Air Guardian, he's from a faraway land as well. I believe Spain. He sent us some neat footage of his Su-35. We're going to be talking in a few minutes about the MiG-29 and its 3D thrust vectoring optional upgrade system. But in the meantime, the Su-35 is that perennial twin from the Soviet era that features that system for free wing. It's a 10 or 11-year-old aircraft at this point, and he's one of the more proficient pilots who's able to throw around the aircraft. And I know that he's getting a MiG-29 and a Gripen 3D TV set, and we'll be putting it through its paces. But check out his YouTube channel. Any of you who are creating new content, again, please let us know on Hobby Squawk. Post it in chat, put it in the comments of the video. That we'll be able to sort of get you on our radar and feature some of your footage. People around the world flying, driving, sailing. Really exciting stuff. Isn't that neat? Andrew, have you done 3D TV, or do you plan to on your MiG-29?
You know, I'm more interested in exploring that on the Gripen. I just feel like the MiG-29 is just a sludge hammer of a jet, and I like boring big holes in the sky with it. But yeah, I'd really like to check it out with the Gripen, explore some of the things that it can do, maybe the hammerhead maneuver. I'm learning with you guys. You know, I've never done it. I'm not a Justin Law or Jeremy Salt type of pilot, but I can build and fly them. So I'll be learning this right along with you guys.
Good. Have that programmed on an off switch, everyone. That's what I like to say.
Yeah.
Oh, and Anders, someone from Brazil. That's neat. Oh, then we spoke with last week. Had a great opportunity to speak with Timothy Toutant up there in Canada, another great customer, family friend of ours, and he sent us. That's a neat high alpha on that Su-35. He sent us. What did he send us here? He sent us his F-18. Oh, that's right. He has the T-shirt that I want. So Motion RC for years now, guys, we have the lanyards, we have the shirts, we have the hats, and we're going to be working on some things. In fact, if any of you guys have additional ideas of what you'd like to see from us on the swag front, let us know. But in the meantime, I want that Blue Angel shirt that Tim has. That looks that's hot.
Well, if you show up to the field with that, the crowd is going to be expecting a show.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I for a second I thought, wait, did he fly Blue Angels? It looks very official.
He does.
He's got the Rich Baker sunglasses and everything, you know. But no, we're glad to see it, and thanks for sharing that, guys. Again, being able to see what you're doing with these products is one of the better parts of what we get to do. Just sort of sit back and see how people are enjoying RC around the world. Now, let me get to a couple of questions people are asking in chat before we dive too far into the customer MiG-29 flights. Hey, Paul. People are asking about the TV, so we'll be talking about that a bit more later, guys. But the TV sets, the optional 3D thrust vectoring sets that are going to be available as optional upgrades for the MiG-29 and the Gripen, they are on the website. We have not opened a pre-order yet, so what you'll want to do is go to the website, and in Notify Me, where it says out of stock, put in your email address, and you will receive an email. Some people are asking here. You will receive an email when those products are available. Probably be opening up a pre-order here soon, and you'll be able to get that email, jump in, pre-order, make sure you have one. Now, it's a good problem to have, but it's still one that we always deal with on the initial runs of these things. Is it's impossible to gauge demand. We've done initial runs of certain products, certain 3D printed upgrades in the past, which candidly, you know, they didn't really materialize, guys. So we never really know exactly how many people are going to like this. Now, the good news is it appears that the 3D TV sets are going to be very popular. So we've got a lot. We're making more. You'll want to be in that email notification so that you can receive that email offering you the opportunity to pre-order one of those. Okay. And Pontiac, if the notification never works for you, Hobby Squawk, my friend, we always do simultaneous launches when something goes out on the website, especially for something pertaining to an upgrade for a new product. Myself, James, Andrew, one of us is in Squawk saying, "Hey guys, this is now available." So Squawk is your lifeline directly to the people running the show here. So that's your backup. Okay. All right, let's jump into customer MiG-29 flights. Speaking of new exciting products, we've had a lot of great footage come in from people around the world flying their MiG-29s. Andrew, speaking of Andrew, this is your twin. This is your brother from another
I've never
mother.
been a big fire booty guy, but it looks so appropriate in the MiG-29. I think I'm finally going to have to do it.
Yeah, it's even powering a Camaro, as we see there. Our friends Justin Lemon, Jeremy Silta, as you mentioned earlier, out there in Utah, they're having fun as well with their moonshot.
Man, look at those.
Yeah, Racing posted this photo on Squawk when I first saw it. He painted the apexes are still white, but he painted his inner ordnance red, which I thought looks really good. And then we've already have people like Samir and Brodek who are posting photos of them flying these aircraft. We already have a repaint from Viduniak, one of my favorite refinishers on Hobby Squawk. It seems every free-wing aircraft he gets to, he does something special. So he's already done his repaint. We've got another Blackbird from Ron Terrell Jones. Keep that away from the sun, friend. And speaking of afterburners, we've got Mr. Villa as well. Brendan McCormick posted this neat footage of people operating his MiG-29 over grass. So hopefully assuage any concerns over grass operation. Aircraft got up nice and smooth. I love these onboard camera shots as well. Yeah. Are you going to be flying your MiG this weekend, Andrew? Or are you guys still grounded with smoke and fires and whatnot?
No, we are free to go. Got some new servos in my elevators, and I'm ready to bore some more holes in the sky with it. It's a showstopper, and one of the most nerve-wracking maidens I had. But once I think a lot of you will attest, once you get it in the air, it just handles like a big, smooth jet. It's really not too intimidating. Lands easy. I'm super impressed with it.
Yep.
And it's sturdy. It's built so sturdy. You just pick it up.
Check out Mr. Like Croat. I mean, speaking of sturdy, Mr. Croat's diving at that, diving down at that runway and pulling up at the last minute. It's pretty neat. And then we've got the Snake as well, flying out there in Apollo. He posted his maiden plus 4 additional flights on his channel, guys. So check him out. That's his maiden landing. I've watched his subsequent landings. It's nice to see, our pilots get into this new aircraft, feel it out, and every flight seems to get better and better and better. Captain G with the vertical takeoff. That looks fun.
Is that the Utah field there? Not sure where that
I don't know. It's a pretty one, though. Looks like Edwards.
Yeah.
You're right, GB. John's low loop. He was nuts. But
we don't want you to do anything unsafe, but if you do, put it on camera and show us.
Exactly. At least get it on camera, at the very least. Elsasing as well with his MiG, already exploring the wide flight envelope of the aircraft, and then coming down in a nice looking field. I like that red ordnance. I like that what he did. And then you guys will need to go to Justin Lamb's to his channel, or jump onto Hobby Squawk where he posted those video links where you can listen to this Model Sounds Inc. setup that he put into his MiG-29. Realistic startup sounds and all that. He has a full-on sound system in the aircraft. Any plans of that for yours, Andrew? Or are you going to keep it stock for now?
No sound system. Like I said, I probably do the thrust vectoring, but I'm just enjoying just getting more flights on it. I think a lot of us are guilty of this. You get 3 or 4 flights on a model, then you move on to the next one instead of really spending time and getting to know that particular model. So that's what I want to do, is just fly the wings off it, get to know it better.
And once you get to know it better, go fly it with 2 other MiGs, which is what Justin and Jeremy did.
Yeah, that's a lot of airspace you're taking up with 3 MiGs. That's impressive. Caution, wake, turbulence.
Exactly. And they kept them nice and tight, nice and close controlled. Communication is key, guys, when it comes to flying in gaggles. especially with big jets where someone can pull vertical at any moment. But
and the perception, and it's the dusk.
Yeah. There you go. There's your loop, John VH. You know we're gonna put that in there, friend. Nice and tight, nice and low. That's what we like.
Woo.
Got your pucker effect. Right.
Nice clean roll. That's one thing I noticed right off the bat. It's just how clean and predictable it rolls and handles. Nothing scary.
Speaking of going around the world, we've got M-Shag from Australia with a neat onboard cam as well. That's a fun view. That's a fun view looking aft. Doors and everything.
The next topic, guys, we're going to move into switching gears completely, coming back to the ground. We're going to talk about construction equipment, about 18-wheelers. We're going to talk with our guest Basim 80 here. And guys, if you haven't searched on YouTube, there is an entire world out there for this. Millions and millions of views on some of these videos. So to help get us to understand that a little bit better, let's talk with Monty Basinger. How's it going, Monty?
Oh, it's going excellent. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. So yeah, why don't you talk us through, kind of how you got into the hobby, what you enjoy doing with it, and your vehicles that you have.
Well, I got into the hobby. I've been into RC for decades, but just started getting into this construction equipment, from a lot of these YouTube videos. And these trucks are so powerful. I mean, you see these kids riding on these trucks and stuff. They really do that without any upgrades. That's stock. They've got that power. And these things are just incredible. The detail on them, I just can't even tell you how realistic the details are on these trucks. They are so scale. I am impressed with Tamiya. And they don't stop giving. The more you play with them, the more that you enjoy it. And so
it's pretty amazing how realistic these are, Monty. You've built a couple of these now that you've been posting on Hobby Squawk. I just wanted to thank you in front of everyone. I mean, what you're able to show everyone else as far as how far Tamiya has come over the past 50 years they've been around. I mean, some of this footage is incredible, incredibly realistic.
Yeah, I mean, once you start building these things, you really start appreciating, and the build is really nice on them too. Super good quality. I mean, there's nothing lacking in these Tamiya kits. They're everything you expect, and you do get your money's worth with them. Even though they are more expensive, they are well worth it. And so as you put these things together, and they're nice, solid builds, this is the one thing that does not come RTR. So, I mean, these are kits, so you're going to have some build time into these things. I've got...
How many hours are these taking you to put together?
I've got about 25 into the King Hauler and the tipper truck, the A-Rocks. I've got over 58 hours into that. And I do have all the upgrades.
This is the one we're looking at here with the orange cab. Is that correct?
Yep. That Italian red cab, that is the A-Rocks. And that one, you have to buy separate the electric actuator, as well as the MFC unit, which gives you the multifunction control, lets you do the lights, sounds. And once you add that, I mean, you're starting to put a lot of time in. I think I had 3 hours in just rerouting some wiring because it didn't work with where I had it originally placed for that actuator unit. It was binding up. So I had to move some wires there, but it's great modeling. And there's a lot of accessories you can get for these things too that really add a lot of realism to them. It gives you a lot of great details and durability, because I use these things for playing around. It's not just for looks. So I'm out there digging, loading, and hauling dirt around. I've probably got 30, 40 loads through that truck already.
Yeah, that's very satisfying. The pictures that you're posting here, are these in your backyard?
Yeah, this is all backyard. So I've turned my backyard into a nice area with several different pit areas and the roads.
It's a work site.
Yeah, it's a work site. The cool thing is all the roads that I've built and everything for accessing all these areas I have done with that construction equipment. So I built the roads. Even though I don't have a bulldozer, I've been able to use the loader, and it works pretty well for being able to build these roads out. So the equipment that you guys are going to have soon available to us is really decent equipment for the price. I am very happy with it. And especially
Monty?
That's very fun. Have you noticed
that
Go ahead, Andrew.
excavator?
I was going to say, don't they have shows for this where people come and they have a whole like playground set up and you bring all your different vehicles and interact with other people in the hobby? I've seen a lot of neat videos like that.
Yeah, that's where I got my inspiration from for doing this, is like, I want that for myself, but I want to be able to do it in my backyard. And the excavator, you guys would not believe the power that these things have. Mine's a version 3. What MRC is carrying is the version 4. And these things are just immensely powerful. They will lift themselves. So you soften up the dirt once in the early part of the year and you don't have to do it again. You can just keep digging. And so
you're slow motion landscaping your backyard. That's
exactly. That's what I got is time now. So
now, we were talking earlier, Monty, offline about how you're an RC pilot. You said you love boats too. What got you into now building these sort of epic 40-hour, 50-hour, super high detail Tamiya truck builds and re-landscaping your backyard?
Well, since I was younger, I've always been into RC, but I grew up around trucks, and I've seen these Tamiya trucks for a long time, but I just never jumped into it. But they've always looked good, and I mean, you guys started carrying them. It's like I got to give it a try. So once I got that King hauler, it's like, man, I am just hooked, because it was 10 times better than what I thought it was going to be, especially with the MFC, the multifunction control unit. The sound, I kid you not, my neighbor thought that there was a real diesel truck out there in front of his house, and he come out to see what was going on. The sound is so realistic that it is amazing, and the lighting effects are phenomenal on these things. They look great. I did lights on my trailer, on my box trailer. I did some customization with the marker lights, because I couldn't just go with the brakes and the blinkers. I had to have the full house. So that is the customization I did on there. And it is fantastic, especially at night.
Given that there are so many parts, so many little bags, and the instructions are very detailed, are there any tips or tricks you could give the audience for someone looking at getting into a truck like this?
You know, what I would suggest is anybody first getting into it, get you something like the King hauler, night hauler, something like that. They're a little simpler on the build. Bags are all marked, and so the instructions tell you exactly where to go, what bag to get, what screws to get. Just pay attention to the size of the screw. But even the instructions have the size of the screw. You can match it up right there on the instructions, which is great. So the build is actually pretty simple, but even more simple on something like the King hauler here versus the A-Rocks was a lot more intense on the build, and that's why it took me a lot more time as well. There are more parts to it, and when you start running all the wiring and everything, it can really get a lot more intense. But something like the King hauler, and then get yourself a trailer if you want the full experience. Grab yourself a trailer to go with it, because once you hook up to the trailer, it completely changes, and it literally changes how the vehicle drives. If you're running the MFOC or the MFC unit, it changes how it drives when you hook it up. The speed changes and the braking changes. Everything has an effect once you hook up to a trailer. It is the coolest thing.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Gear transmission. They have like 3-speed transmission.
Oh yeah. Let's talk about the transmission. So these things are quick for their scale. So I haven't done an actual speed test and radared it to see how fast it's going and get to scale speed, which I'll put that on Hobby Squawk. But with that 3-speed transmission, most of the time I'm running around in first gear. But you switch to second gear and it's like, wow, third gear is like the thing is just you have to run to keep up with it. And so it's quite amazing. And that's both of those units. So that there is a different motor in the A-Rocks. It's a lower turn motor, but you get a little bit more torque on the low end for hauling the loads and stuff. So, I mean, both models are just excellent.
Robert Ortlep commented in chat, pulling your airplanes out to the tarmac. I mean, you think with the torque, I mean, of course, we've seen that Tamiya clip earlier, it's able to pull a child. You think you can set up one of your airplanes and give us a video of that one day? I'd like to see you
absolutely.
pulling it out to the taxiway.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got trailers for all of those, and you know what? You can get boat trailers for these things. So you could haul your boat around, you can pull your airplane, you can set up a tug. Absolutely. I mean, they have more than enough power to do all of that. And the traction on these things is incredible too. I mean, when you're bobtailing around without a load, they act like the real truck. You don't get quite as good a traction, but once you get these things loaded up or you throw a trailer on it, these things just, the traction hooks up and you just go, and they are very good performers. I'm not disappointed at all.
Yeah, I got to get my hands on one at a hobby show just a few years ago, towing a boat. Was representing Oxy Marine and helping him out, and he had the King hauler, and we had a big old catamaran on the back and the 3-speed transmission, and I was shocked, one, at how fun it was to drive. I kind of thought at first, oh, it's just an 18-wheeler. It's not going to be that much fun. And two, how challenging it was to drive. And three, how fast you could get it going. Because I got it into third gear and I had some wide open space. And once you get it moving, like you said, you got all that momentum. And yeah, I about tossed the boat a couple times. So I was like, okay, settle down. But then we got into, we did some parallel parking challenges. And that was a whole lot of fun. I just never would have thought I would have had so much fun with such a different segment of the hobby, but they are so cool, so detailed, super, super neat. And you could back that right in the water and back that boat right off if you wanted to. So the sky is the limit with the details on those.
Yeah, absolutely. And the customization on them too. You can't go wrong. There's so much that you can do with these things to personalize them and make them your own.
Exactly. That's exactly what we did.
The detail, the usability. That's impressive, Andrew. That's really impressive. Whose lowboy is that? Did you build that up or?
No, that was my friend Bill Oxydine. He built the truck and then had that trailer custom made, and the boat just sat on it. It wasn't on there super well, so you had to be careful around corners. But still, that was the star of the show for sure. We just wheel it up and down the aisles and attract attention. Ton of fun.
I love it. So, Monty, I just wanted, again, to thank you for joining us for the show, showing us what you're doing. And it's so exciting to someone like me who I love this type of stuff. For any of you who are interested in learning more about Tamiya and follow people like Monty along, go to hobbysquawk.com, subscribe to his threads, ask him the questions there. As you said, he's got dozens of hours into 2 models already. He's an RC airplane guy. He's an RC boat guy, a truck guy, sort of cut from the same cloth as us. So let him know and give him some kudos there for joining us. If any of you would like to be a part of our show in the future, again, be on Hobby Squawk, be present, to raise your hand and say you'd like to share with a wider audience. And we love to use our spotlight to help you. We're noticing that there are an increasing number of people joining the hobby. And so we want to pivot now and bring it back to sort of putting that responsible hat on and doing 2 things. One, we want to welcome our new customers, new people who are joining the hobby for the first time. You may have noticed someone at your RC field who's getting into an RC airplane for the first time. So this is our opportunity, everyone, to come together and teach. Teach as we've been taught on how to enjoy this hobby safely. So we're going to take a few minutes and play back a short version of the pre-flight checklist. What we're asking everyone to do here is to, if and when we encounter someone who's new to the hobby, send them some of these links. We've produced a 40-minute pre-flight checklist video. We're going to play back a 5-minute version just so it lives forever here in this episode. The idea is that flying aircraft and even pre-flighting a boat, which is another animal entirely, but still, you don't want to go swim for it if you forgot to charge that battery. Pre-flight, everyone. So, Alex, let's roll this video. And I hope that everyone can watch it and use it as a resource to help new people enjoy this hobby safely. And by the way, maybe some of us could stand to rewatch it again ourselves. I know I do.
So first things first, whatever system you have, find out how to set a throttle cut, do that now, and turn it on. All right, guys, so control linkages are all on. And now what I did at this point, again, every manual pretty much for every RC aircraft is going to tell you which servo holes to put your control rods on and such. So like 1 to 1, 1 to 2, as far as the ball links and things like that of how they get installed. But right now, I didn't worry about rates or anything. I just want to make sure everything is in and level. All my throws are in the proper direction, and that's a very simple reversing or not reversing in the transmitter. So if I want to roll right, my aileron is that way. If I want to roll left, if I want to rudder left, if I want to rudder right, and if I want to pull up or if I want to pull down. Everything is in the proper order. The receiver placement on an aircraft is crucial. Now, when you mount a receiver, especially one with wires, what you want to do is make sure that you tape off your wires at 90 degrees. Where you place your battery, remember 2.4 signal will go through foam, no problem. Foam does not block the signal. But carbon, lithium in your LiPo, that is going to affect your signal. We want to work on the rates. So I'm going to go by the book rates. I've already flown the F-18. I like the way the book rates were set up. So I'm going to use some, systems. Everybody has a different way to do it. So guys could put in here. I know basically you're doing your high throws and your low throws. I'm not going to tell you how to do it in this. Again, it'll just be part of your pre-flight. Make sure your throws are where you want them to be. But now the next thing I want to do is I'm going to CG my aircraft. So going by the book and the manual, I never had a problem with this aircraft flying it as it should. I know 14 structural screws that I hand tightened here, I'm comfortable with. But what about all the screws that I didn't touch? Let's check those. That's your next step here is let's go through, let's check the motor, make sure I didn't plug the motor in. I want to make sure, again, it's my pre-flight. I don't want to take off and have something go wrong, because if you smash the aircraft, it's even harder to tell what might have went wrong, whether it was something you did or not. But not checking is 100% going to guarantee that if something does happen, you probably won't know what did. So I say first things first, let's check the motor and ESC. All right, guys, so now at this point in the game, I feel pretty confident that I could take this bird to the field with me and finish up a full pre-flight check. So just off the top of my head, what are some of the things you check, on your aircraft when you get to the field?
I say the one that pops out the most in my mind, honestly, is throw controls. So are they going the right direction? Because I can't tell you, myself, I have done it where I've been on the bench, I was looking on the model, I was like, yeah, left, right, that looks good. And then didn't check it again. And it met a fiery demise as I had the ailerons reversed. It's something simple and stupid. Everybody does it in the hobby. So I always stand behind the model and left, right, up, down.
So some of the things before we get into the plane, because obviously now we're here, we got our battery charged. That's one of the things to check. It's not just the aircraft. Are your batteries charged? So everybody should have a cell checker, a way to check. And right now this battery is 99%. And I could run through each cell. Another thing I check, your transmitter. I am religious when it comes to keeping my transmitter charged. I don't like to fly anything under 8 volts. One thing I like to do, if your plane has ordnance, if you're gonna fly with, little outskirts, like the nose cone, this is magnetic. Is it on there secure? Is it tight?
So in full scale, you refer to that as your walk around.
Okay.
You're basically just gonna make sure that everything on the jet is ready to go in the shape that it needs to be. And the way I think about it is, shrink ourselves down to 1/10 scale, whatever it is, and start from the cockpit, like you're standing there, and walk around the airplane and just see what is suited to be taken up in the air. So just looking at your clip, making sure that the clip is in place and that it's on there. If you use the rubber O-ring, make sure the rubber O-ring is attached and isn't broken or chipped or anything. Again, you could have nicked it on the way to the field.
Let's cycle the gear. This has the blue box, so we'll be on a bit of a delay. Check, make sure nothing's impeded, so that if it's in the air, if it doesn't open, don't just let it go up and say we're good, or let it go down, cycle it through. Good, that feels good to me. Gyro throws, I turn the gyro on, so let's hear wiggling. So I'm gonna turn, and again, this is just quick, but aileron, whatever way you're turning into, the surface should come towards you. So that aileron moves up, when I do that, that's good. My ESC is obviously not calibrated because I was getting up to here, at least on my sticks, before the throttle even kicked on. So we're going to show you how simple it is. Majority of free-wing flight line, I think Skynetic ESCs all work the same. It's usually the first set of beeps, but obviously Depending on the plane you have, just got to check your ESC manual. There's, probably a range of beeps or some way to do it. Every ESC will do it, or it's not worth its grain of salt. So all you do is throttle all the way up. Plug in the aircraft. First set of beeps, bring it down. Now it arms normally. Now hold the nose for me, and now you'll see. Watch my transmitter. Right there. First click. Now I have, and I'm gonna go hard. Go for it. Taxi test first. Let's make sure she's straight. So I'm just gonna go up to enough to get her moving. Seems like she's rolling a little bit to the left.
A little to the left.
A little to the left. And now what I'm gonna do with a range check too, couple different angles. Don't just check it at one angle, because again, you're trying to check the plane's in the air. There's all signals going to change depending on what's, like that's why you have more aerials. One will pick up if the other doesn't. That's what you hope has happened. You're getting extra redundancy. Right. So.
And then when I throw it to you, all right, everyone. So that was fun. Dmitry Mikhailov, I would say you can buy a plane like that at Motion RC, my friend. You are watching Motion RC's live stream. So go to this link down here, and you can get one of those aircraft that you just took a look at. We're going to move now, guys, into our second to the last segment here that's going to show you a bit of the MiG-29 CAD. So transitioning from that pre-flight checklist video, again, we want to emphasize, guys, if you have new pilots, or even if you're a veteran pilot, it always helps to pre-flight. And especially when you're enjoying a new aircraft, where it's a brand new airplane that is just released to the world, or it's a Stinger 90 or Su-35 that's been around for several years, but it's your first time flying it, it's imperative that we just double check anything. Motion RC, as you know, we're here to support that product. So any questions before you go up, call us. Any concerns, any questions, anything. Before that aircraft leaves the ground, we want you to call us at motionrc.com and reach out to people like Andrew and the great team that we have there, who are, we're made to support you guys, and we work for you. Now, speaking of new aircraft, the MiG-29 is one of those fun birds that has just come out from Freewing. As we see, a lot of you here are operating it. We want to give an inside look as to what's inside that aircraft. So for those of you not familiar, for the past 6 weeks, we've been trialing something on Twitch. It's a live stream that I do myself independently. It's essentially a guided tour of about 1 to 2 hours in length. Sometimes we go to 3 or 4, but we give a live guided tour of our aircraft. We've done the B-24 from Flightline and the 1.6 meter Corsair from Flightline. More recently, we've looked inside the Gripen and the MiG-29. So what you guys are looking at here as I move this around is, this is a live view of my screen, of a CAD of the MiG-29. And the exciting thing, what we're able to show to our customer family out there, is we're able to sort of chop up this aircraft into different angles and fly through it in real time. And we can talk about different elements of the aircraft. We can look at ducting. And we had a great conversation about a month ago. People had some excellent questions regarding, how do we design ducts for an aircraft? How do we optimize air intake and efficiency to get the right balance between thrust and speed? Those types of questions, if you ever wondered about them and are curious to see what's inside your aircraft without having to chop it up with a razor blade, you can talk to me live. And so we're doing that. I'm going to post a link here in the chat. And you can go here. This is where a lot of us here on Hobby Squawk are talking about the aircraft and asking about new topics that they want to see, aircraft that they want to see. We are actually going to be looking at a boat in the coming couple of days, looking inside a boat and seeing what makes those tick. So if you guys have questions about those things or comments, please let us know. Now, one thing I want to show you while I've got everyone here is, this is a 3D TV set. This specific MiG render shows us our 3D TV set. People had good questions about what is in the 3D TV set and how is it included? How does it connect to the aircraft? So we were able to show them that what you see here in yellow, this is what comprises that 3D thrust vectoring set. To install it, of course, then we're slicing along these two lines. People wanted to see the inside, And so I was able to say, okay, well, let's take a look at the inside here. Here's where the armatures are set up. This is what is plastic. This part is foam. Those types of insider looks at these models, guys. I'm fairly certain no one else is doing this. Now, some of you have been on that Discord and have been in these chats with me, and I think y'all would say it's pretty fun. People have great questions, great insights. We're able to learn from each other and use the aircraft that we're developing as a platform for discussion, whether it be about looking at the F4 to talk about ducting design, or looking at this MiG-29 to talk about a 3D thrust vectoring implementation, or even we were looking at strength analysis. So between the Corsair and the MiG, talking about how we position and where we position the landing gear. Why is it as it is? So many of us, Air Guardian, you're one of the guys who's in there for every single live stream, my friend. And and so he knows what we're doing out there. So there's a link in the description below. There is also 2 links that we posted there in Hobby Squawk and directly to the Twitch. We're asking people to let us know and give us feedback. Is this the type of content you'd like to see more often? In which case, give us ideas of what you'd like to see next. If no one is interested in seeing the inside of their aircraft from the senior manager of Motion RC, then maybe I'll stop. But if there is interest out there, guys, please let us know. And in the meantime, share. So that's it for me, Andrew. Unless you had anything else, I think we've had a great show. I was really, really, really excited to have Monty on the show. I think we've covered a lot. Would you like to add anything before we close it up here?
Now building their MiG-29. If they have any questions, feel free to give me a call. Always available through the Motion RC customer service line or on the chat. Or if you send in the service ticket related, I tend to grab it since I have one right here myself. Same thing with the boats, guys. If you're getting into the boats and you're new and a little apprehensive, well, just go ahead and get one. Dive on in, literally, because that's what we're here for. That's what I'm here for. If you have any questions about the boat when you get it, tips or tricks, definitely hit me up. Give me a call, and I'd be happy to discuss it. We got all kinds of neat variety of boats. So yeah, guys, I really enjoyed everybody being on today and participating. Is that pretty much it, Alpha?
Yeah, I think it's something for everyone. I mean, John VHRC said it best there in chat. Something for everyone. Monty, we want to thank you again for joining us. This was really fun. We've looked at MiG-29s, boats, trucks, checklists for our new people to the RC. There's something for everyone here. We're so excited. James will be back in next week's episode. We wish him well wherever he is, and excited to have him back in studio. Let us know in Hobby Squawk for any additional sort of features and segments you'd like us to cover. We're going to keep on doing this, keep on moving forward. Motion RC is on the move. Thanks, everyone. Stay safe and have a great weekend.
Later, guys.